Here is today's homework for Algebra 2. It is the quadratic formula. Problem number 11. You are asked to solve these using the quadratic formula. The first 6 problems are using the quadratic formula. So what you want to do is you want to make sure your question is in standard form, which it is. And the formula is the opposite of b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So we have a negative 4, so it's going to be 4 plus or minus negative 4 squared is 16 minus 4, the a value is 1 and the c value is 3, all over 2 times 1, which is 2. Well, right here you're going to get 12, so 16 minus 12 is 4. So 4 plus or minus the square root of 4, which is 2. So this is equal to 4 plus or minus 2 over 2. Well, 4 plus 2 is 6, and 6 over 2 is 3. And 4 minus 2 is 2, 2 over 2 is 1. This tells me that this question was factorable. We could have factored it x plus 3, x plus 1, actually minus. These are both minus. X minus 3, x minus 1, and your 2 solutions are 3 and 1. But we wanted you to practice the quadratic formula. The next one, you have to get 7 over. So 2x squared plus 5x minus 7 equals 0. So your formula, it's negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So b is 5, so it's negative 5 plus or minus 5 squared is 25 minus 4 times 2 times negative 7 all over 2 times 2, which is 4. So right here you have negative 5 plus or minus the square root of 25. Now we have a negative negative, so this is going to be 8. 8 times 7 is 56, all over 4. So we're going to add these, you get 81, and the square root of 81 is 9. So it's negative 5 plus or minus 9 over 4, and we can simplify that. Negative 5 minus 9 is negative 14 over 4, which is negative 7 over 2. And we have negative 5 plus 9, which is 4. 4 over 4 is 1. So let's see, does that factor correctly? So we would have 2x plus 7 and x minus 1. So would those be the correct factors of this? Let's check this using factoring. 2 times x is 2x squared, negative 2, 7, and that works right there. So this one was also factorable. That's how you get negative 7 over 2 and 1. And this one, if you do x squared plus 10x plus 25, you're going to see that this is also factorable. But we're going to use the quadratic formula. It's the opposite of b, so negative 10 plus or minus the b squared, so 100, minus 4 times 1 times 25, which is going to be 100 minus 100, which is 0, all over 2 times 1, which is 2. So you get negative 10 plus or minus, you have 100 minus 100, which is 0, over 2. This is going to go to 0, so negative 10 over 2 is negative 5. So this one would have factored into be x plus 5 times x plus 5. Number 17, you want to get your 3x and your negative 1 to the other side. And I know this one's not factorable. So the opposite of b, so it's going to be 3 plus or minus b squared, 9, minus 4 times 1 times 1, all over 2 times 1, which is 2. We can do this quickly. This is going to be 4, and 9 minus 4 is 5. So your answer is 3 plus or minus root 5 over 2. There's nothing to simplify. Now, how would you convert these two answers into decimals? Well, you're going to do, it's 3 plus, if you clear your calculator, 3 plus the square root of 5 divided by 2 is approximately 2.62, and 3 minus the square root of 5 divided by 2 is about 0.38. Those are two answers converted to decimals. These are called exact. These two are exact answers, and these two are estimated. The next one. Looks like we have some factoring to do. 2 times 2x is 4x, and 2 times 1 is 2. We can't figure out what a, b, and c are unless it's in standard form. So 3x squared minus 4x minus 2 is 0. So your quadratic formula says it's the opposite of b, so 4 plus or minus the b squared, that's 9, minus 4 times 3 times negative 2. All over 2 times 3, which is 6. Next, let's simplify. We have 9, this is going to be plus. 12 times 2 is 24, so 9 plus 24, all over 6. 9 and 24 is 33. And there's nothing we can do there. Let's leave it alone. You can convert the two answers to decimals. It says 4 plus the square root of 33 and divide that answer by 6. So my two answers are 1.62 and 4 minus the square root of 33. Take that answer and divide it by 6 and I get negative 0.29. Next, x squared minus 5x equals negative 4. Bring negative 4 over. And we're going to take x is equal to the opposite of b, so 5 plus or minus b squared, 25 minus 1 times 4, which is 4. 4 times 1 times 4, all over 2 times 1, which is 2. This is going to be 25 minus 16, which is 9. So it's 5 plus and minus 9 over 2. Well, what is 5 plus 9? It's 14. 14 over 2 is 7. And 5 minus 9 is negative 4. Negative 4, that is not right. 14 over 2 is 7. How am I getting 7? 25 minus 16 and 9. Oh, because the square root of 9 is 3. So, I knew this was factorable. 5 plus 3 is 8. 8 over 2 is 4. And 5 minus 3 is 2. 2 over 2 is 1. And this was factorable. The square root, my mistake was the square root of 9 is 3. Okay, the next 4, we just want the discriminant. The discriminant is the b squared minus 4ac. So these should be easier than the ones we just did. If the discriminant comes out to be positive, that means there's going to be two solutions. So for this one, we're going to take the b value, we're going to square it, and we're going to subtract 4 times the a value times the c value. So I already know that 4 times 5 is 20, and 16 minus 20 is a negative number. So the discriminant is negative, that means there's no solutions. Our graph will not cross the x-axis. The next one. The b value is 20, so 20 squared, that's going to be 400, minus 4 times negative 4 times negative 25. So we're going to have definitely a negative because we have 3 negatives here. We've got 16 times 25, which is 400. 400 minus 400 is 0. Claudia. Hi, Kitty. Can you call me back in 5 minutes? I'm videotaping. Okay, bye. 400 minus 400 is 0. The discriminant is 0. That means there's one solution. The next one. The B value is 7. So 7 squared, which is 49, minus 4 times 2 times negative 15. I already know this is going to be a positive number, so there's going to be two solutions because a negative times a negative is a positive. So we have 4, but we still need to figure out what the discriminant is. So 49 plus, we have 8 times 15. 8 times 15 is 120, and 120 plus 49 is 169. So there are two solutions. The discriminant is 169. And the last one, the C value is negative 6, don't forget. So it's 7 squared, that's the B value, 7 squared minus 4 times A times negative 6. This is going to be 49, and this is going to be a minus. 8 times 6 is 48. And it's definitely a negative because you have a negative times a negative, and that's going to be a negative. Negative, negative, negative is negative. 6 times 8 is 48. And 49 minus 48 is 1, and so that means there's going to be, it's a positive number, so there's going to be two solutions. The last one is a story problem. It says that your class is selling boxes of flower seeds as a fundraiser. The total profit, so profit is your P, that's your total profit, depends on the amount X that you're going to charge for each box of seeds. So if we want to make $125 profit. We're going to put 125 here. So 125 is equal to negative 0.5x squared plus 25x minus 150. What you're going to do is solve for x. So we're going to use the quadratic formula. We're going to get a 0 on this side. So negative 0.5x. Negative 0.5 is your A value. Your B value is 25. And your C value, you're going to subtract 125. If you subtracted 125, you get negative 275. Okay, so now what we're going to do is solve this using the quadratic formula. So using the quadratic formula, we have x is equal to, it's the opposite of b, so negative 25 plus or minus 25 squared minus 4 times negative 0.5, we definitely want a calculator, times negative 275. All over 2 times negative 0.5. Okay, so let's do this little by little. So you get, up on top, I'm going to negative 25 plus or minus 25 squared. 25 squared is 625 minus, we have 4 times 0.5 times 275. And I get 550, but it's going to be a negative because we have 3 negatives, so minus 550 here. All over 2 times negative 0.5 is negative 1. So now we're going to do this right here, and you get 75. So negative 25 plus or minus the square root of 75 over negative 1. Well, we want to convert that to a decimal, or actually solve these two. Let's figure out how much we should charge for each packet of seeds to earn the profit of at least $125. So we're going to do negative 25 plus the square root. Let's try the square root one first, the positive one. Square root of 75, and then we're going to divide that by negative 1. So here's our answer. It's negative. Here's the calculator. I did negative 25. Plus the square root of 75, got that answer and divided it by negative 1. So 16.33 is one answer. And then if we do negative 25 minus the square root of 75 and take that answer and divide it by negative 1, we get 33.66. But what's the smallest amount that you can charge would be 16. $16.34. And that is your answer. We are done.